Hey Z, I got the goods. The turnips, potatoes, carrots, pumpkins.
Are you making pumpkin soup or something?
No, we're making jack-o'-lanterns.
Oh, I knew about the pumpkins, but not the other stuff. I'll go grab the knife so we can start carving them.
Before that, you ever wondered how the whole pumpkin carving into lanterns thing happened?
Well, it started with a dude.
A dude?
Yeah, you heard of Stingy Jack? Pumpkin Jack?
No, actually.
Well... You've probably heard of the Irish legend of Stingy Jack, or even Jack-o'-lantern. He is the iconic figure of Halloween after all. Legend goes, after a night of drinking, the devil pays old Jack a visit to claim his soul. Jack doesn't protest, but invites the devil to join him for one last drink. Hours pass and the devil tries to collect his due, but Jack asks for his tab to be paid. The devil refuses as he had no money on him. He doesn't exactly have any use for mortal currency anyway. Jack smiles, proposing that the devil turn into a piece of silver to pay off his tab, and when the bartender isn't looking, to simply transform back so they can be on their way. Reluctant, the devil agrees, turning into a glimmering silver coin, only to find himself in Jack's pocket resting beside a holy cross. Trapped, the devil pleads for freedom, but Jack had other plans, offering up a bargain to let the devil go in exchange for his soul to never be brought to hell. Hesitantly agreeing, the devil was freed and never came for Jack again. As the years passed, Jack's time came. Before he could enter the gates of heaven, however, God personally appears to stop him. No person so wretched and deceitful could ever enter the sanctity of heaven. Turned away, Jack goes for the next best thing. As he stepped foot at the trenches of Inferno, the devil appeared and greeted him as an old friend. Jack pleads for refuge, but the devil only smirks, reminding him of the bargain they made all those years ago. Panic sets in as Jack had no other place to go, but his old friend gives him a parting gift. A carved out turnip with a glowing piece of hell's ember, acting as a lantern to light his way through purgatory. They say every Samhain he roams around looking for victims to meet a similar fate to his, and the only way to repel him, and other spirits like him, is to carve out a turnip or a potato, and place an ember inside to ward off evil spirits. But why turnips and potatoes though?
Well, maybe I can explain that. Well, the story of Stingy Jack finds its roots in Gaelic and Celtic lands, which was also where the tradition of Samhain comes from. It's a festival that marks the end of the harvest season and the beginning of darker days, autumn and winter, where the nights are longer and the veil between the mortal and the spirit realm are the thinnest, allowing all sorts of creatures to roam our world. Traditions such as costume and treats were practiced to both give respect and be protected from these spirits. One such custom included carving lanterns from turnips and other root veg to light the way for both lost souls and mischievous spirits. I guess that sounds familiar. As a wandering soul with a root-based lantern himself, Stingy Jack became associated with Samhain as one of the many spirits to come out to mingle during this time. These lanterns were believed to scare off or even blend in with spirits. I mean, look at these things. If I was a ghost, I wouldn't go near it either.
Blend in?
Well, these spirits tend to be depicted as lights or little balls of flame that dance around in bogs to mislead travelers, often called will-o'-wisps. Legends say that if you follow one, you will surely disappear. But there is a scientific explanation to them, where naturally occurring gases around the bog can actually cause small spontaneous combustion every now and again. It's theorized that travelers might have mistaken these as lights from other travelers or even villages, which meant possible refuge, only for it to lead to them drowning in the bog. This explains why a lot of Aussie were both related to light and water, such as the Dullahan's lantern, the Kelpie, and even Stingy Jack. The tradition eventually spread as Irish and Scottish immigrants made their way to America around the 19th century. Certain customs evolved over time due to one reason or another, and one of these customs were these very lanterns. As the native fruits, the pumpkin was much larger and easier to carve. Thus, both Stingy Jack and the Jack-o'-lanterns evolved into what we know of them as today. Wait, that's not right.
Oh, but this is your part.
Yeah, but how did Jack get his pumpkin head?
I think I may have an idea. It looks like carved pumpkin heads were a thing way before its association with Halloween and good old Jack. From the looks of it, these pumpkin heads were used before their need for lanterns as scarecrows.
But how did that happen?
While scarecrows have had a long history dating back to ancient Egypt, it was during the Middle Ages that we can trace the usage of produce for heads. It's noted in Germany, though I'm sure there were other places too, that farmers would stuff old clothes with straw and use turnips or gourds as heads. This sort of tradition also moved to the Americas, where German farmers would make scarecrows known as Bootsamon or boogeymen of sorts.
So where does Jack come in?
Give me a sec. The first time we ever see the word Jack-o'-lantern in print, at least, was in 1836 in Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Great Carbuncle, but was likely referring to the will-o'-wisp situation we talked about earlier, rather than a pumpkin. In 1851, Hawthorne wrote another story called Feathertop, where we see a sort of sentient pumpkin-headed scarecrow, but neither mentioned Halloween or Samhain. But this is important, as Feathertop's scarecrow became the inspiration for The Wizard of Oz's Jack Pumpkinhead, published in 1904. The first time, as far as we could find, that a connection with a pumpkin head, a scarecrow, and the name Jack was made.
Huh, but no mention of Halloween?
Yeah, but these stories were published around November to December, quite close to the spooky season of October. It was also around the time that Stingy Jack stories were also being published, painting him as a darker character, such as the one from the Dublin Penny Press, published in 1836. In this story, rather than simply tricking the devil with a coin trick, he actively beats the ever-living crap out of the devil and his highest-ranking demons with a flail. The story ends just about the same as the original, but it definitely makes Jack look even more threatening.
So you're saying that all these stories kinda just blended together eventually until people just naturally associated Jack with pumpkin-headed mischief?
Well, yeah. A meddling of cultures, stories, and a bunch of unrelated circumstances occurring around a set time frame tends to lead to these associations. Stories change and evolve due to all sorts of circumstances. Mainstream media in the modern day also definitely helps solidify with this idea, what with Ghostbusters, Billy and Mandy, and even Digimon and Pokemon. As you can see, these Gaelic traditions changed and adapted over time. The harvest festival Samhain became Halloween, the custom of giving out food called soling became trick-or-treat, and Stingy Jack became the king of pumpkins, per se.
Oh, how I love learning about how customs and cultures evolve throughout history. Makes you wonder where time will take us next, right?
Lisa? Is that you?
No, I'm right behind you.
Oh, I overheard you guys talking about me from the outside, and I couldn't help but head in to check it out. You guys should really learn how to lock a door. So what'll be? Trick or treat?